Imagine boarding a routine flight home for Thanksgiving, only to discover the mild-mannered businessman sitting behind you has just handed the flight attendant a note claiming he has a bomb. This actually happened on November 24, 1971, and what followed became the only unsolved case of air piracy in United States history. The man who called himself Dan Cooper, later misreported as D.B. Cooper, would execute the most audacious heist in aviation history and vanish without a trace. It started as Northwest Orient Flight 305 prepared for takeoff from Portland to Seattle. Cooper appeared to be just another business traveler, middle-aged, wearing a black suit, white shirt, and black tie. He ordered bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, and seemed completely unremarkable. Flight attendant Florence Schaffner initially ignored the note he handed her, assuming it was just another passenger trying to flirt. But when Cooper leaned over and said, "Miss, you better look at that note. I have a bomb," everything changed. What makes Cooper's psychology fascinating is how he conducted himself. He wasn't aggressive or threatening. When Schaffner asked to see the bomb, he calmly opened his briefcase to reveal red cylinders, wires, and a battery. Then he closed it and made his demands, $200,000 in $20 bills, for parachutes, and fuel trucks ready in Seattle. Experts later noted this wasn't the behavior of a desperate criminal, but someone following a carefully planned script. The FBI's psychological profile revealed something remarkable. Cooper was polite throughout the ordeal, even helping Schaffner tie the money bag. He offered to pay for his drinks and refused the crew's meals, saying he didn't want to cause extra trouble. This gentleman bandit behavior puzzled investigators. Most hijackers are impulsive, emotional, seeking attention or escape. Cooper seemed motivated by something else entirely, almost like he was proving a point rather than simply stealing money. After landing in Seattle, Cooper released the 36 passengers but kept several crew members. He had studied the Boeing 727's capabilities extensively, requesting specific flight configurations that demonstrated deep technical knowledge. He wanted to fly toward Mexico City at low speed, low altitude, with landing gear down and flaps lowered. The crew warned this configuration would require refueling, but Cooper had anticipated this. Every detail suggested months, maybe years of planning. At 8 p.m., somewhere over the dense forests of southwestern Washington, Cooper lowered the aft stairs of the 727 and jumped into a raging thunderstorm. The temperature was below freezing, winds were fierce, and rain was turning to snow. He wore only his business suit and a parachute, carrying a bag with $200,000. The crew felt a sudden upward movement of the plane's tail. Cooper had jumped. He vanished into the darkness and was never seen again. The timing fascinates historians and psychologists alike. Cooper chose Thanksgiving Eve, a day when Americans traditionally reflect on gratitude and family. Some theorists suggest this wasn't coincidental, that Cooper saw himself as taking from a system he felt had taken from him. Others point to the almost ritualistic nature of his disappearance, like a modern myth being born. The day gave his crime an almost sacred quality in American folklore. The FBI launched one of the longest-running investigations in its history. They interviewed hundreds of suspects, analyzed thousands of tips, and spent millions of dollars. The case files filled 60 volumes. Yet Cooper seemed to have vanished completely. In 1980, a young boy found $5,800 in deteriorating $20 bills along the Columbia River, serial numbers matching Cooper's ransom money. It remains the only confirmed physical evidence ever recovered. What drove Cooper to attempt something so dangerous? Criminal psychologists have proposed numerous theories. Some suggest he was a disgruntled aerospace worker seeking revenge against the industry. Others believe he was terminally ill and wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. The most intriguing theory suggests Cooper never intended to survive, that this was an elaborate form of suicide disguised as the perfect crime, ensuring he'd be remembered forever. Cooper's cultural impact reveals something profound about American psychology. He became a folk hero during a time of social upheaval, Vietnam War protests, Watergate brewing, economic uncertainty. Here was someone who outsmarted the system without hurting anyone, stole from a corporation, and disappeared like a ghost. He represented rebellion with civility, crime with courtesy. Annual conventions still celebrate his legend, and his case has inspired countless books, films, and documentaries. In 2016, the FBI officially suspended active investigation of the D.B. Cooper case, though they'll review any significant physical evidence. More than 50 years later, Cooper's fate remains unknown. Did he survive the jump and live out his days with his stolen fortune? Or did he perish in the storm, taking his secrets to a grave that will never be found? Perhaps the mystery itself is the point. Cooper achieved a kind of immortality that money could never buy. He became the perfect American outlaw, polite, daring, and forever free.